Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here, and man, it's been a few days, and I got one huge video right here. As you can see, Zack Snyder did a massive posting. This came out a few days ago, and I think that this is Zack now revving up his one in the Snyder Cut. I think because of him seeing so many of us fighting so hard for that cut, it's resonating with him. I think that now he feels that since he created Army of the Dead, his sequel to Dawn of the Dead for Netflix, and now he's completely separate from WB, that he can now start voicing. I think that the NDA is starting to alleviate itself from a lot of actors and actresses and even people on the set. People are starting to now talk, and because of Zack Snyder's Snyder Con that a lot of people went to last year, he showed that 214, as you can see on this picture. And a lot of us were wondering what the heck that was, and I think that at the time they didn't know until it was revealed that that's the minutes. That's how many minutes his cut was that he filmed, and he reduced it down to. And if you guys want to know how much that is, that's actually that's 3 hours and 45 minutes and 44 minutes. So if you really think about it, he did no 3 hours and it's 3 hours and 34 minutes. Yeah, 3 hours and 34 minutes. So that's how long his Justice League movie was. And I want to voice this out to you guys that I will only do really big events. Now this is huge because this is Zach playing mind games with people. This is Zach trying to give us understanding about what this means, and that and why he's doing things like this. This is shows how methodical Zack Snyder is and how great of a director he is, because this picture is supposed to be the picture of King Arthur and Genevieve with Excalibur. And if any of you know about the story of King Arthur, um, he just pulled Excalibur, and now he's contemplating about what to do with it, because he just went to go get the Holy Grail. He just went on his crusade to go try to go get the Holy Grail, and he never came back with it. So that's what I think this picture is. Now, some people said it's supposed to be a reverence to the Holy Grail and everything like that. No, 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 no. I think that this is supposed to be King Arthur when he went to go get the Holy Grail, and he came back empty handed because he couldn't find it. And this was the start of Genevieve's. Sorry. This was the start of Genevieve's affair with Lancelot and the fall of Camelot. And when the Dark Knight, the Black Knight, came and destroyed all of Camelot and put Britain into a spiral. So there's a lot you could take from this. There's a lot you could take from this. I don't want to psychoanalyze the picture. I think that it's a really great picture. But this is supposed to be King Arthur with, I believe that's Genevieve in the picture laying next to him, and of course that's Excalibur stuck into the ground. Now, and it says 214. Now, I think that he's talking about the they're talking about the Holy Grail. Now, it is supposed to also be Arthur holding the Holy Grail in his hand, and he's about to drink from it. But if you know Arthurian legend, Arthur never got the Holy Grail. He never did. He never attained it. That was something he wanted to do, being a Christian, and he left to go on the crusade to actually go get the Holy Grail, but he never obtained it. But during that time, like I told before, Guinevere started having an affair with Lancelot because Arthur took all the other knights but left Lancelot to protect his wife. So that started their illustrious affair and the fall of Camelot. So, but I don't think that that's what this is. This is a representation telling you that the cut that you're fighting for is the Holy Grail. It is that's what I think that this picture is supposed to represent. But in my personal opinion, It's a goal that all of us can obtain, and we're all going to be in reverence of it because this is something that we all wanted to see. And I think that Zack Snyder is doing everything he possibly can to not anger the WB and DC overlords, and also and anger more people. I think that he just sent out pictures and he wants people to psychoanalyze and get so much out of a lot of the stuff that he's doing that it could be anything. It could be anything. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And I think a lot of people are trying to figure out, is he trying to say that the cut exists? Well, anybody who's part of the movement knows that it's not that. There's much more depth to it. And Zach is one of those guys that talks about depth. He's a lot more about depth about his movies. And people who don't know his artistry style, if people don't know his filming style, they're not going to see the depth. And you got a lot of people on social media, even in the media, who sit there and say that Zack Snyder is all about style, not substance. He can't tell a story correctly, or he's just all he's doing is just baiting more people to want to join this cause um for this mysterious cut that doesn't exist. They just want to keep that narrative so they know, because deep down they know that if they already made up their minds and they rather for you to just move on. They don't want people looking at this cut anymore. They want people to move on and forget about Zack Snyder. And that's not what people want. They want to see what the director was meant to see, what the director was meant to do. You also got a lot of people out there that are still hammering home that he got fired. He didn't get fired. He walked away. If he was fired, they don't have to put his name on the damn movie. They didn't need to put his name on the movie. They could have said Joss Whedon's Justice League. That's what they could have done. So how in the hell could they have fired him and put his name on the product? They can't do that. If they fired him, that means it's theirs. They don't have to put his company's name all over it. They let go of the director. Who the hell cares? We own the product. So if they put his name on it, that means that he was never fired. That's just the way it is. That means if you're an architect and you create the blueprints for the building, and because let's say you walk away because of medical conditions, but somebody comes along and completely changes it and then puts your name on it, does that mean you're fired? No, that means you have a lawsuit. Because that means that you can. That means what the heck are they doing for changing the plans? But if they paid you just to make the outline, who the heck cares? We own the building. You just make the outlines, and we'll see what we could do with it. That's what happened with this Justice League cut. That's what happened. Okay, I'm not saying that Zach has legality. He has a legality over WB. No, he doesn't. All what I'm trying to say is that he made a blueprint of a movie, made the whole blueprint. Everything was there. All the another person had to do was come in and add in a couple of other measurements, get the coloring down, get the regular structure, and then that's it, and build it. But that's not what happened. That's not what Joss Whedon did. He came in, took out most of the baseline of the structure, remade the whole baseline, and instead of it looking like a 3D skyscraper, you have it with it has an indentation cut. It also has a slant on top, and the base looks like it's on stilts when it's supposed to be a flat structure. So instead of it looking more old time, it looks more modern time. And that's not what the original concept was. So like I said, Zack Snyder wasn't fired from the job, because if he was fired, they didn't need to put his name on the damn movie. That's salt. If they fired him and then put his name on that movie, he can sue them for that. Because they say, yo, you fired me. You can't put my name on that. But he walked away. He quit. He gave the keys back to them. So whatever they do after that was more on them. Joss Whedon deserved more credit on that movie than Zack Snyder did. But they slapped Zack Snyder's name on it to appease fans like myself. Oh, it's Zack Snyder's movie. Oh, okay, that's fine then. And then looking at the movie, you feel like, wait a minute, this is not the movie we were looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for. Move along. Move along. Thanks for your money. This sounds so close to what's going on with Star Wars right now. I'm hearing a lot of stuff about Star Wars, but I don't want to get into that. I will actually be very upset. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I don't want to get into it. So, but this right here, I want to talk about it a little bit. What do I think of the picture? What do I think about Zack still posting? And what do I think about Zack's attempts to keep uh, um, the faith for the fans? I think it's great. It's showing that Zack is listening to a lot of us. He's there. He's not being that director that's going, I've given up, I've walked away. You guys got to do what you guys got to do. He's not doing that. He's going, no, keep fighting, because he knows deep down that this is the movie he wants out, and he's not gonna stop. He's not gonna stop. Why should he? His vision of Henry Cavill Superman got completely wasted. Ben Affleck got completely run out of a franchise when he was proposed that you're gonna give us the greatest death in DC by Batman, in a way paying back Superman, the world, Wonder Woman, the Justice League back for the crap that he pulled in BVS, and sacrifice himself to literally die at the hands of Darkseid to protect Lois Lane, because he knew that this was the only way to prevent from Clark going down the darker path. Excuse me. Sorry. Um, that he it was going to be one of the greatest deaths in movie history, and it's a repayment. But we didn't get that. I kind of like the ending in Justice League. I kind of do. That Bruce bought the bank and gave Clark and his mom back their farm. He bought the land. He bought the deed from the bank. It's his bank now. He holds the deed to the land. Batman did that before. Bruce did it. He bought the Kent farm and made it a freaking a landmark. So nobody can come on that property and tell him to get out of here. Go talk to Bruce Wayne. So that's the things that those are the small things that I appreciate what Zach was doing. He wasn't posting nostalgia. He was actually molding nostalgia into the story, so it's there, but it's not that apparent. He put in little Easter eggs here and there, here and there. The biggest thing that he did for the fans, that he honestly said that he wasn't really thinking about it, but he thought it was really cool to put it in, was Martian Manhunter. He knew that everyone wanted to see John Jones. He wanted them to see him, and he never had the intention of bringing in John Jones or Martian Manhunter. But he put him in there anyway for the fans. He thought it'd be a great way of saying, okay, we're gonna unite the seven. And it's funny. People just didn't understand those little nuggets. You had Batman in his story. You had Batman in his story, a fallen knight, the fallen knight, trying to redeem himself not just to Superman, who's the king, not just to Wonder Woman, who's the queen. He's the knight, and it's him trying to get himself back in the graces of his basically his surrogate father, and to himself. But no, we didn't get that story because they didn't want to waste their time with it. They thought the fans didn't understand it. Really? How do you know? Again, it comes back down to you're telling me how I should feel about a character. You guys never wrote a story. You hired this director to tell me a story, and you come in and say, nope, that's not how the story's supposed to go. Wait a minute. Let him tell the damn story. I'll be the judge of it if I think it's crap, or hey, give me more. You're not going to appease everybody. And Zach knew this years ago. When you try to appease everybody, you're gonna miss a few people. There is no way you can appease everybody. You can't. It's impossible. It's a fool's errand. And again, we're gonna get the whole, well, Marvel did it right. How do you know Marvel did it right? Amount of money they made? So what? It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And also, here's the funnier part. And this is the biggest gag that I can ever bring to the table. And the biggest gag is that the more people that sit there and talk about how great Marvel did their movies, and the moment you look at those movies, you go, I can see why they like it, but now you can understand why people say that these are for kids. These are meant for kids. Because if you look at the story, it is so bland, it is so basic that yeah, any kid will understand that. But it's a forgettable story. Yet listen, I grew up on 1970s. I grew up on Chris Reeve Superman. But the story was so basic. Yeah, I can understand that story as a kid. I understood the story about why he gave up his powers for Lois. Oh, okay, Superman would do something like that. That sounds like Superman. But do you understand that being an adult, if you really, really, genuinely look at it, a guy who just started his career as a superhero gives up his powers for a woman and then goes through the worst physical beating he has ever had in his life, could not do anything about it, almost goes to the hospital with broken ribs, broken lip, messed up face, black eye. I mean, he it is the worst beating a person's ever taken, and you think that that's okay. That makes absolutely no sense. Why would he give up his powers? Why would Superman do something like that? It goes back to what in Crisis, and those are the things that makes people go, what? I can appreciate what they were doing. Tom Welling Superman in the Crisis event makes sense. He said, I gave up my powers to have a family. Okay. He said, doesn't matter. The amount of powers I ever had will never comprehend the fact that he can have children and be with his kids. It makes sense. I was like, okay, that's perfectly fine. That makes absolute sense. That bookends his story. But Tyler Hoechlin's makes absolutely no sense. For him to walk away from the planet Earth and just disappear and say, hey, you know what? My cousin could take care of it. Really? Her story is getting darker and darker and darker, and her cousin's not there to help her. And you expect everything to be okay. That's kind of a dick move. I'm sorry to say, it's a dick move. Again, I'm not lambasting. I'm not saying it's stupid or anything like that. I'm saying it's a dick move, but I can appreciate them giving from a different point of view and an angle for us to go, oh, but for us to make a judgment decision. Again, you may not have to like it, but at least give me an explanation of why. And BVS gave us a huge levels of explanation about why Henry Cavill Superman is going through all of this right now, because he did not learn the one absolute truth: consequences for actions. He can't just go around doing everything. He has to ask, hey, do you need help? Just by him showing up and doing it and saying, hey, you know what, that's no problem, and leaving, he caused international events. He caused international crisis events. He got the world talking. What the heck is Superman doing over on international soil for? Well, he's Superman. So why is he involved in our politics? Why is he involving himself in our disputes? Those are the small questions that he was proposing. What gives Superman the right to go into other people's homes and do what the heck he wants? Just because he's thinking it's the right thing to do? No, ask, hey, do you need help? Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. And that was the thing. And Batman throughout the whole movie was basically he gave up. He saw a viable threat and said, you know what? These criminals and weeds, I'll get rid of them. Just get rid of them. This is a viable threat I have to take care of. He sees Superman as a viable threat. And he went after him. Got rid of him. Didn't even think about it. And it makes sense. And the story was supposed to revolve around the fact that Superman learned the ultimate lesson. Hey, you know what? I can't just be doing this all the time. Also, Batman, he was learning that, my God, people, you could stumble, you could fall, but start trusting in people and you will see greatness in people again. That was the whole point of his line of him saying that men will stumble, we kill, we hurt each other, but we have a capacity to do great things. And he wants to be that type of person again. But he's plagued. We didn't get that story. We didn't get that end story. We didn't get the end story for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman still coming off of the effects of what happened with Steve Trevor. She hid herself away from humanity, believing that there's a capacity of great good in men and a capacity of great evil in men. But she can't be the determining factor on good and evil. So she took herself out of the equation. That's the reason why at the very end it makes sense. She comes out of hiding and says, "No, I'm here to inspire." That's why Bruce's line says, "What have you done? Where the heck were you? You could have been our first Superman. You could have been the one that inspired a lot of people, but you didn't do it. You hid. You hid in the shadows." That's why the line when they were talking, he says to her that once this is over, we can all go back into the shadows again. And they were chuckling about it because that's what they were going to do. Bruce was going to retire as Batman. He was going to stop being Batman. He believed that he screwed up on his crusade. He perverted it by killing men and killing people. Same goes for Wonder Woman. She felt that after this job is over, she saved the world, she was going to go back to her regular old job again. She was not going to let herself be out there. But we didn't understand what's going to be happening with Arthur or the Flash or Cyborg. We didn't get that full thing. We know that Barry's going to start doing his crime fighting heroes shtick. We know that Arthur was going home. He was going back to Maine. And we know Victor was going to stay in Star Labs with his father. But his dad was supposed to be dead. He was supposed to be the one that led all of Star Labs. We don't know his end story. He got robbed. So there's a lot of things we're missing in this 214-minute cut of Justice League. A lot. But no, Zack Snyder, he screwed up. He screwed up. He messed up on the movie. He can't tell a story. Really? I think obviously he can. Because in 214 minutes, you're missing Batman's story. You're missing Superman's. You got some of Superman's resurrection. You're just missing some bit parts. You also are missing Wonder Woman's story. You're missing Aquaman's story because there's a lot more going on. You're missing Barry's story because there's a lot of stuff going on. He was setting everybody up for their individual movies. He was. And also, we're missing the whole crux of the movie is about the Cyborg. That's what it was. It was Cyborg's movie. His introduction. But we didn't get it. His whole introduction. And we were robbed. But again, everybody's talking about, oh, he did it wrong. He screwed up. No, he didn't. He had a clear outline of what he wanted to do. Superman was supposed to be in there for maybe what? 30 minutes? The other what? 2 hours and 4 minutes was mainly going to be about the Justice League. Them dealing with Steppenwolf. And we're going to get a tease about what's going on with the Fourth World. And then trying to fix what they broke. Now we don't know. We do have an idea that there was a time travel sequence that Barry ran back in time to try to fix everything because the moment that destruction happened, he said, "Oh my God," and ran and he ran. He tried to outrun the explosion, but he ran so fast, trying to outrun the explosion, he broke the time barrier and went right back in time. He ran through the Speed Force. Now, his how Zach interprets the Speed Force, that would be stupidly phenomenal. It'd be scary because Barry's now understanding what he could truly do with his speed. It's not about sonic booms. It's not about breaking the laws of physics. He's now he's breaking temporal physics, which opens up a whole new world. So what the heck are you talking about? He knows exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what type of story he was trying to tell. Superman was barely supposed to be in that movie. I'm sorry to say, he was barely supposed to be in that movie. And again, everyone's got to realize that he planned out 5 movies: Man of Steel, BVS, Justice League Part One, Justice League Part Two, and Justice League Part Three, and then that was the end of it. And they eliminated two of the movies, and he had to shove three levels of story, 3 degrees of story into a 1 pound bag. And he had to cut a lot. He even stated one of his cuts was over 5 hours. He had to cut that out, all of it, and try to make it under three, and try to make it at least a little over 3 hours because he wanted to make sure that the fans and the audience understood the story from beginning and middle and the end. But WB does not want to have another Batman v Superman Ultimate Cut situation. They don't want that. They don't. They do not want to have everyone go, "Oh my God, look at how much money they missed. This cut is so superior." They don't want to hear that. And Sarnoff knows. AT&T is going, "No, we don't. No, we don't want to hear that anymore. Let's move the f on. I want to see money. I want to see money in the coffers. We don't care." And they have to listen to them. They have to. If you feel you have a problem with it, go to AT&T. Say, "Hey, what the hell you guys are doing?" Actually, I'm sorry. Don't do that. Do not do that. Don't fight with your money. Just keep the movement the way we're doing it. Just do those peaceful negotiations, and they will make it happen. AT&T is supposed to give them the money. AT&T does not dictate the movies they make and what movies they don't make. AT&T is not that type. AT&T does not have that level of stretch. WB is WB can make whatever movies they feel that they deem necessary. But this whole Snyder Cut thing, they don't want that out. AT&T does not want them to just let it go and let's move forward with other movies. But WB and DC are considering it because Ann Sarnoff is in charge of all of WB. Walter Hamada is the creative mind behind all of the DC movies. He knows we're gonna make a buttload of money off this Snyder Cut, but we have to do it the right way. We have to start making a lot of money, or AT&T will fold DC. He was like, no, they want to make a lot of money, and that's what Zack Snyder is doing. He's doing these small little things, these clips, like you see here, a picture with 214 on it. He's doing all these things to showcase to people that yes, keep fighting. This is the Holy Grail. Keep fighting the fight, and that's what we should be doing. Now, I'm gonna move a little bit on, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about something else, and then I have to get going. Okay, but one, the biggest thing we need to do is keep fighting for that cut. All right, hold on. There we go. Keep fighting for that cut. Keep fighting. I wish I can be very, put my hands on a lot of things and push forward with you guys. I really wish, but I have a full-time job. I cannot. I gotta be responsible. I have to be very, very responsible for my day job. I'm very appreciative of having the position I'm at, and I gotta fight however I can. But making these videos, I love doing the release of Snyder Cut videos. I hope that you guys love them too. Talk about it down below. Talk about it, please. I like to discuss it. What do you guys think? We just got about a while back. We got the black suit show off by Zack, and I think that was pictured by Fabian Wagner. I think either Fabian or Clay Anos did it. And I want to touch on another thing. I mean, and I still think a lot of people don't understand Gal and Gal's position in all of this. Gal, I think that a lot of people need to go back to her interviews. If you look at her interviews during the release of Justice League, you can tell she was very upset about a lot of things. But she's being very diplomatic. Ben was livid. You could tell he was very livid. People didn't like his he thought he was fat man and all that. So I was like, "Are you kidding me, dude? Dude, during Justice League, he was drunk. He was drunk. He was drunk and he wasn't in shape. He was. Let's be honest about it. He was drunk and he was not in shape because he was livid that these people were touching this movie. He was livid that this movie that BVS got messed with. But he was being the professional. He was drunk, but he came onto the set, did the lines, did everything he possibly could, and he did the direction that was directed. But you could tell he was livid. You're having Batman smile? Batman don't smile. He snickers. Or he gives a coy little smile, but he doesn't full blown do what Ben Affleck did in that movie. Batman doesn't stumble over words, not like a regular like you and me. He knows exactly what he wants to say and he says it exactly how he needs to say it. He's not like Barry. He wouldn't be intimidated by freaking Aquaman. If this dude could stood toe to toe against Superman and didn't give two S's, you think he's gonna be afraid of Aquaman? No, he'll stand up to him like, Psh, "You talk to fish, bro? Okay, cool. Why don't you go talk to some fish for me?" That's Batman. He wouldn't be that rude, but I mean but that's Batman. He says what he needs to say at the exact same time he needs to say it. But they made him a laughing stock. They turned him into honestly an Adam West version of Batman. And again, I know people are gonna say it below like, "Oh, or they're gonna say like, "Oh, he's making fun of Adam West." No, Adam West made fun of himself. Batman doesn't do stuff like that. Batman has rarely ever done anything like that in the last 30 years. Actually, let me see. Yeah, about 40 years. He's never done stuff like that. He's never been very comedic. Batman has always been a very in your face person. Very in your face. They commercialized and they cartooned this movie down. Again, I'm not a golden calf. I'm not gracing the golden calf. I'm not gonna say I didn't do it, but I did. I actually liked the movie. I liked what they did there, but there were problems, and I started to understand the problems were. It felt like Super Friends. That's what they proposed to you. Underneath everything. And it makes no sense. Why would Batman be this way with Arthur or Barry or Victor? Hell, even with Diana, he doesn't know her. She's gorgeous as hell. Gal is gorgeous. But he wouldn't be this way around her just because she's a woman. This dude was around Poison Ivy under her thrall of influence. He's around Selena Kyle, who's not a bad looking woman herself. He doesn't fumble and wumble all over himself over it. No, he's still Batman. So why the heck is he being friendly to Diana for? There's no reason for that. Barry's a scientific mind. Bruce would talk to him as a scientist. He would talk. They should not have the level of camaraderie at that entry level of the movie. It wouldn't make any sense. It makes little sense. Very little sense. Sorry. So my major question to all of you is, how can you look at Justice League and think that and think, listen, you can like the movie, but truly analyze the movie and analyze the characters as you know them. Why would Arthur be friendly to any of them? He's a loner. He's heard of Batman. He's heard of Batman, but he doesn't know any of these women, these people. He wouldn't look at one woman and get a chubby. He'd be like, she looks pretty. He wouldn't care. He's a stoic dude. He doesn't care. He can get women that looks almost. He could get women like that almost any day of the week if he wanted to. This is Arthur Curry. He doesn't care. He wouldn't fall over for Wonder Woman. He wouldn't. That's not Aquaman. Same for Batman. They will not fall for freaking Wonder Woman that way. And I'm telling you, I'm being honest. I'm not saying Gal's ugly. No, she's effing gorgeous, man. And even without her makeup, she's still gorgeous. She's still a gorgeous woman, but still, you gotta think of him in a character sense. Arthur would not fall over for her. He would not stumble all over her. Barry would, because that's Barry. Victor is more machine than man, so he wouldn't look at her that way. Batman, it's Batman. He would not do it. Even Superman wouldn't do it. Wonder Woman is like the big sister to all of them. That's how they would treat her. Oh, God. It's not hard. It's not hard. When you have these people all chummy to each other throughout the movie, it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Hell, I will agree. Even in Avengers, they didn't know each other. They worked together. Like, okay, yeah, okay. We got a guy in a metal suit. We got a guy with a gigantic overgrown frisbee. We got a chick with two PP welter pistols. We got another dude with a bow and arrow. Okay, yeah, I mean, all right. A guy with a mallet. Okay, I mean, I'm not disrespecting them. I'm not. I'm not disrespecting the Avengers. The Avengers are a great team, but the way Joss Whedon did that movie, it made sense that they would have some personality conflicts. Like, hey, what the hell? Why didn't we get that with Justice League? Because Batman is one of those guys that likes to always be in control of everything. Why is he subverting his leadership around too much? No, we do it this way. Done. The scene when they were down inside the hovercraft, inside of the hangar, should have been right there. How Batman is. Him standing before Wonder Woman, dude, he would have moved out of the way. He would have done a martial art move and got that heck out of the way. He wouldn't allow her to put her fist up to him. He wouldn't. He would go and move out of the way. He would grab her fist and move. He'd be like, don't. Just to show that he's Batman. That's Batman. I'm not saying he could overpower her. No. What I'm saying is he would show his prowess. That nope, she can't get a hit on me. No, thank you. And also, he wouldn't push her buttons as he did, because he knows. He wouldn't truly push her buttons. Because his whole crux of story in this whole thing is he's trying to build this team to be the ones that now push forward Superman's goals. And he was going to leave it all to Wonder Woman, and he was going to quit. That was his whole story in all of Justice League. He was going to still be Batman, help them defeat Steppenwolf, and once it was over, he was going to give the world the Justice League, and if Superman wasn't going to be around, okay, that's fine, but he was going to quit being Batman and give it all to Wonder Woman. That was his story. And it pisses me off because people didn't understand that. They were so mad over the fact that they didn't understand the story crux. Again, it was a terrible story crux because Batman would never do something like that. Once he puts on the suit, he's gonna put up the responsibility. He puts on a suit to be Batman, and he's going to do this job, and that's it. He's going to continue doing it until he cannot do it anymore. But that was his story in Justice League. He was going to give her the whole group. Why do you think he kept saying that you should be the leader? You're the leader. She says, I can't be the leader. I'm still haunted by what happened with Steve. And every time I send people out in the battle, I see Steve's face. I can't be that type of leader. Batman's like, I can't be that leader because he's tainted. He's completely tainted. He can't be that leader. But you saw that he was being that leader. He kept telling him what to do. Arthur doesn't know. He's not. What the heck is he going to know? And Barry and Victor, what the heck? So Batman took control of the situation, even though he felt that he was not the right person for the job. So yeah, Zack knew exactly what to do with these characters. He was giving them their arcs, so towards the end of the movie, when we see them all teaming up, when Superman's finally there and putting the screws to Steppenwolf, and then the whole situation of them trying to stop the mother box from happening, and Barry having to go back in time and preventing and getting Superman there to stop, to help Victor with the boxes. Boom! And then with Batman looking at the fact of, holy crap, and there's Darkseid through a boom tube, and he sees the Kryptonian, he says, Kryptonian. This is all in the movie. Batman realizes right there, okay, he can't stop being Batman. They need him. They need him. And Wonder Woman is looking at this and going, this is the great evil. This is the creature that she saw in all of their scripts. And that's what the scribbles, the drawings that we saw in the behind the scenes of Diana inside of the crypt. She was looking at all this stuff. And it showed that Darkseid was the one that led the charge on planet Earth with Steppenwolf, and he's the one who had the mother boxes and provided the unity. And he subverted the whole planet to the anti-life equation. That's what got her going, okay, nope. She has to get herself involved. And Superman sees it and says, okay, this guy's going to come after me. Okay, I'm ready to duke it out right now. Let's do it. So you got the Trinity knowing their places now. Batman has to be Batman. Superman has to be there to prevent the world from preventing the world from dealing with this dude. And Wonder Woman is there to say, hey, okay, this is the guy that basically tried to take out the planet years ago. I'm sorry, thousands of years ago. And there's a lot of ways they could have went with this. They could have said that Darkseid was the one that made Ares wipe out the rest of the gods. There's a lot of things they could have done with that story and moved forward. Ben Affleck could have still been Batman and retired himself from being Batman and gave it all to Richard Grayson. We could have Richard Grayson as Batman. While you could do the storyline I proposed in one of my videos, the whole Red Hood saga. Batman going through his whole thing, he's trying to realize who's behind all this, and you slowly lean up to basically Ben Affleck's Batman retiring and giving it all to Dick Grayson after he tries to save Jason Todd and introduce Tim Drake. You have Superman now as the pillar hero of all these heroes, and now having to deal with the fact that his best friend, I'm sorry, not his best friend, I'm sorry, at this time, but a teammate in Bruce Wayne now saying that he's retiring from being Batman. He's going to give it to Dick Grayson, his ward. And they're like, what the? You have Barry in him. You have now this new Justice League. But Bruce is still around. But he just can't be Batman anymore. You have merry conversations between them talking about all this stuff. Bruce giving sage advice to Clark about how to be a great hero, because Batman's a hero. Batman is a hero. He's done a lot for his city. His city's starting to come around. But you have Clark going to Bruce and talking to him about, hey, what do I have to do that? He goes, well, what do you think you should do? What would your dad say? You can have all that type of stuff. The lessons that our parents taught us is what forges us to become the people that we're meant to be. Boom. That's something Batman would easily say because he's right. That's something that his father always taught him. or Alfred. You can have a lot of great conversations. You can have Diana going to Bruce, talking to him about a lot of things. You can have Barry going to Bruce. Bruce could be that retired hero that basically everyone can go to ask for advice. Arthur doesn't go to him. He doesn't need to. He has to deal with what's going down in Atlantis. But he talks to he could talk to Diana, and Diana says, "Huh, well, you got to do what you got to do," because she has sage wisdom herself. But again, there's a lot of things. The thing about Diana is she understands people, but she doesn't understand people. She can't read people like Batman can, because Batman knows people. He's a criminologist. He's a detective. There are insights that Bruce has that even Diana can go, "Oh yeah, well you're right." And it doesn't undermine her character at all. It just shows that, hey, she can't. There's certain things she can't think of that Bruce would always think of. And also it shows camaraderie. And you don't have to have him always in the bat suit. You can have him outside the bat suit, talking to her as Diana Prince, and he talks to her as Bruce Wayne. People say, "Wow, you guys are a phenomenal couple," and they're like, but no, they're just good friends. But you can see that there's that tension between the two of them. Has there been before in the comics? And they alluded that in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, that there is some tension between the two of them. But but you can put in there that Bruce is still lost over the fact of Talia or Vicky Vale or Selena Kyle or anybody else. There's a lot of things they can do. So I'm gonna leave it there. But this Snyder cut, keep fighting for it. The whole situation with this one right here, this is something that Zack Snyder is always going to be doing for the next for until that cut comes out. And I hope that people get it out there. Please, 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 if any of you can get this out there to Zack, I will tell Zack, do not reveal Darkseid. Do not show him at all. Do not show the only image that we should saw of Darkseid was the screen notes. That's it. All the little pictures he did for what he was gonna do. But I do not want to see a full image of Darkseid the way he constructed him. I don't want to see that. I want to see it in the movie. I want to see it in the movie. I want to be shoving popcorn in my mouth and enjoying how he imaged Darkseid, for the good or the bad. I just want to see how Zack did it. The voice and everything. We already know who played him. That's fine. But here's the thing. They could have changed his voice with a voice synthesizer. Whoopie freaking do. I just don't want that image out there, and then I can slowly find faults in it. I rather enjoy it in the moment of the movie and go, yeah, yeah, that's Darkseid. But man, please, please, Zach, please, if and everything that is holy in your vision of Justice League, do not show Darkseid. Do not show him at all. Keep him under wraps. Keep him beyond the word top secret, because I think that he knows that if that image gets out and people look at it and go, dude, that sucks, it's gonna light on wildfire. You're gonna start a huge levels of likes and dislikes on Darkseid. Leave it alone. Just give us the story of the Justice League. Leave Darkseid alone, please. All right, so like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Hit that bell. Again, I'll try to get as many videos out as possible. I will get as many videos out as possible. It's getting Christmas time, and I'm getting myself prepared. And I hope you guys can enjoy and have a great day. And if I don't make any videos up until the holiday season, you guys have a great holiday season. Okay, have a great one. Bye.